Hey y'all, hey, it's a new episode of Bonafide Her podcast featuring Tori Ortiz. Pew, 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 pew.
Hey.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
You know we blessed to be alive. So we should
Every day.
get started. So, Miss Tori, can you tell us how would you describe your journey and what brings you to where you are right now?
So, I have always been like an athlete my entire life. I played softball for a really long time, and after softball, I quit and I decided this wasn't for me anymore. So, I wanted to start running track, and I competed in track. I competed in like the fifth grade track meet, so I don't really feel like I started like running track until I got to middle school. And our middle school was weird. We didn't have like sixth graders could not participate in sports. You had to wait till you were in seventh grade. So
Yeah.
I started competing in track consistently from seventh grade until when I finished this year in May. Um, and so I ran in middle school, ran in high school, competed at Illinois State for a year and a half. Obviously, COVID hit, so it was cut short, transferred to Oklahoma State, ran here for 3 years, and now I am a certified personal trainer,
Woo!
which is very different, I kind of think, than what I expected to be. But I also am a strength and conditioning coach at the high school out here. So I'll be working with girls basketball and girls softball, which is really exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Girl, you are right. Everything has blossomed since.
It's crazy. I have a house now too. Like everything, my life kind of took a turn, but everything's been for the better, I would say.
Yes. So how was the transition from Illinois State and Oklahoma State was like?
It was different. I mean, obviously, I'm from Illinois. I'm an only child, so I had never been away from like my family or anything, for what, 20 years. And then my cat and I just got in the car and drove 11-ish hours down here to Stillwater. And coming in, I feel like the transition was a little bit difficult just because I came in during COVID. So I was very limited to everything. So I didn't really get to experience what it really was like here before COVID had hit. So like I didn't get to do like an official campus visit. I didn't get to do, like meet the team, hang out with the team, go out with them, experience kind of everything Oklahoma State had to offer. So I feel like none of that really started until COVID went away. But the transition itself, I feel like was pretty easy. It was hard at first just because I was away from family. And I remember thinking like when my mom and dad like left the apartment to go back to Illinois, I was like, I'm about to cry and be miserable. But I was okay. And I feel like once like I realized like I was okay and I didn't cry and I was like, I got this, it was really comforting for me. I had my cat, so I was good. It wasn't like I was just alone. So we were good. And people reached out and I made friends really easily here. And so it was really easy to like get out. And I also forced myself to get out and do things that I didn't do. Like if one of the teammates was like, hey, like you should come out to like FCA for today with us, like, I came. Like I made sure I went because I was like, I'm never going to meet people or get to know anybody if I don't do anything. So I wanted to make it so I could like branch out really quickly.
Oh yeah, for sure. Cause it's like when you go to a new college, it's like a whole different world.
Oh, yeah.
Espe- Especially like Illinois State is considered a mid major, and then Oklahoma State is like the Big 12. So that's definitely a huge jump. And speaking of Oklahoma State, how has with the implement of the NIL, how has that like literally changed your life, um, as in life itself, as well as a student athlete for you?
I feel like it was easy, like with it because I kind of already had some numbers, but when I heard that that was coming out, it made it very motivational for me to want to continue to grow. Like when I got to OSU, and then I remember I posted my media day pictures, it kind of blew up, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I could do something about this. And so I kind of just kept on that journey of just wanting to grow and kind of get my name out there. And I wanted people to know who I was. And pretty much that I was an athlete at OSU. And with numbers, obviously helps with NIL. And it was really a life changer because I think that you look at athletes, and before then, all you saw was professional athletes getting paid. And so now it's kind of like you just you just felt very like honored, I guess you could say, to get these deals and know that you were bringing in money. And some of these deals are bringing in money that I think people dream of. Like to know that if someone was struggling, or to know like if you just wanted a little extra cash to go do something, or even if you got a bunch of cash and you were like, okay, like let me go drip myself out, like it gave people the opportunity to do that or take care of their people too. And that was big, I think, not just for me but for everybody. And it's just been fun to work with companies because not only like do you get monetized from it, but you get to build relationships. And for me that's really important because I'm a big people person. I love people, I love meeting people, I love working with people, because at the end of the day, when you work with people and, like you're getting to know them, getting to know their story, you're also like building your brand, not just with numbers essentially on the media, but with people in real life. And I think that that's really important too.
Yes, especially like, you mentioned brands, like, to see, like, you getting huge brands like Gatorade, I believe you said you had a huge deal with Gatorade. How was that? And as well as the other brands that you got to build relationships with?
Yeah, it was cool because Gatorade is my first like big NIL deal ever. And I was like, wow, like this is crazy. So yeah, that was just huge, just working with that big of a company. But I think what a lot of people don't really know about NIL is how difficult it can be. It's like people look at it and like, oh, I do a post, I get paid. No. You work at these big companies, they have expectations. So a lot of the times, like, for example, I did a video with Meta and it was over summer and I did it with the VR system and we had to play Creed. It was like a friendly teammate thing. So I did it with one of my teammates and they sent us this brief. So they sent us the headsets, they sent us everything we needed. And the brief was exactly like step for step, the do's and the don'ts for the videos, what they expect, like all that good stuff. So we followed it exactly, got it done, sent it in. All the reviews that came back had to completely redo the video. I mean, it was stuff that like wasn't even in the brief. So a lot of these times it's like, these deals take weeks, sometimes maybe even up to a month just to even complete. And then it's like after that, it's from when your video gets posted, it's net 30, net 45, net 60. Typically my agency always tries to keep things net 30 for payments, but then it's like you got to wait to get paid because when you're working with bigger companies, typically your payout is bigger, so it's a longer process. But you got to make sure that you're hitting exactly what they want, because at the end of the day, you want to make an impression. You want these companies to come back and be like, oh, we loved working with her. They're like, her content was great, all this stuff. So you want to make an impression. You want to make sure that you're hardworking and you show enthusiasm in everything that you do. So it's it's fun, but sometimes it can be a bit stressful too. But I mean, it's like a job. You've got to impress.
Yes, it's like, and then, just you are your own brand too. Like if you think
Mhm.
about it, like, you always have to present yourself. And I think that's, for you, like it's amazing and honor to see a woman in sport like yourself getting huge brands. Like, and then you have the shop GLD. I always want to say shop gold for some reason.
I was the same way. It's okay.
So, my question is, what was it like to hear you being, named the highest paid NIL athlete in Oklahoma State athletics history?
It was good. I feel like for me just because I wanted to be like an empowering woman and I feel that was just big. Like, I feel like you think of your star quarterback or your best basketball player or like these people who are out there like with all these amazing accolades and I just wanted to like no matter what you do like you can work hard even if you're not like the biggest top tier athlete, where you are. So it was good. And then plus, like obviously I'm Puerto Rican too. So just being like a Latina as well, it was all really important for me just to be something big and special and leave my mark in some way, when I was here.
That's awesome. Like, and you know, you mentioned in representation, like I noticed it matters. So, like, do you hope to see that more within like not only your sport, but also sports worldwide as well?
Yeah, I also hope with NIL, like they are able to branch out because international kids can't do NIL. And I think some of these international students we have are the most amazing athletes. They are so talented, they are good people, they're hardworking, and they have zero chance of monetizing.
What?
Yeah, they can't. Literally, it's a rule. I don't think it's changed yet, but international students can't do NIL. There is this girl on my team, and she's one of my good friends, and she is so talented and she works hard. And she would have so many NIL deals coming to her, I believe, and stuff like that, but she can't accept them. She can't do anything. Like, I wanted her to be my partner to do the little teammate video with Creed, but since she's an international student, she couldn't do it.
Dang,
So, yeah,
that's crazy.
it's rough. So, I feel bad, and I just think, like, they need to expand it and be able to represent everybody and not just US citizens pretty much.
Yeah,
US
like, it just seemed like the NIL, like the NCAA, particularly, like, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, like, they don't really want their student athletes to make money. I feel like they just wanna make the money for themselves and don't see the student athletes as workers.
Yeah, but I think the rule just released that, like, colleges can pay athletes now. I'm pretty sure the NCAA just released that. So, I think, like, colleges and NIL, like, making money, I think it's making the NCAA money. So, I feel like they're okay with people getting paid because at the end of the day, they're getting paid too. Because
That's
you're a representation of the NCAA when you're in college.
yeah.
So,
It just seems so complicated. You would
it
think
is,
like
and they're always adding more stuff on because it's so new, so nothing is, like, set in stone and everything is constantly changing, so I think that, like, it's always gonna be complicated. I don't know if they'll ever, it's like how many rules will they lift? Because it started off strict and it's getting a little bit less and less strict every year, so.
yeah. Um, what was your major in of study in college, and how has that, like, applied to you, within, like, your job right now, being a strengthening coach as well as, life itself?
Yeah, so I'm actually still in college because my credits got messed up, so I'm still taking classes. I take my last final this Friday in college ever, so I'll be done this Friday. I think it's like the 16th or 15th of December.
Good
So
luck.
thanks. Yeah, I'm excited to be done, but it sucked just how I had to do all that. But my degree was applied exercise science, strength and conditioning, and I also took nursing prerequisites because for a long time I really wanted to be a nurse. I got my CNA in high school, really wanted to go through with it, but just the fact that it took me 6 years to even just, well, technically 5.5 years to just get my freaking bachelor's degree, I was like, there's no way I want to go to nursing school and do another 3, 4 years, like it just kind of killed me because really I feel like I should be completing my master's right now, or I should be done with my master's, but they kind of screwed me over with classes. So here I am, but I'm getting a degree. So at the end of the day, I really won't complain. But obviously, it's strength conditioning, so it's something with athletics, something with the body, just competing, all that stuff, training. And so obviously, it works being a personal trainer and then strength and conditioning coach. Like, just one, I think being an athlete itself in college and being an athlete my whole life and training at different places has given me that experience. So I have that plus my degree and everything that I've learned, and then plus my internship. I learned a lot there. So everything kind of ties together, just being in the world of training and working with people and helping people. And when it comes to just anything with working out or that stuff. So everything ties together and it just works out perfect.
That's awesome. Like, I know I could definitely see you, like, helping people, like, for sure. Just, like, not only the vibe from you, but, like, just knowing you and, like, getting to speak to you, like, "Girl, you helped me in being more confident within myself." So, and I shout
Good.
out to you for that, for
Thank
sure.
you. I'm glad I could have an impact.
Yes, and I think and I hope and I wish a lot of people see that because, like, girl, like, you have made an impact and, like, you provide that you have that good energy that is so special and you have a beautiful soul. I always want you to know that for sure.
Thank
So,
you. I really appreciate that.
yeah, so um but what got you into nursing before, like, you stopped kind of doing nursing? What inspired you to do nursing as well as just the applied exercise as well?
My aunt, she definitely was my inspiration for nursing. She's an emergency room nurse and she's a travel nurse right now. But I always used to bring her food at the hospital. She would text me and she would be like, "I'm hungry. Can you bring me a snack?" Or like, "Can you bring me dinner?" and stuff like that. And I would get to like go back in the emergency room. And as weird as this sounds, I loved the setting. I feel like no one wants to be in a hospital, but like it was just such a thrill for me. And it's like you're in an emergency room, so you don't know what you're gonna get. You can get something, someone coming being like, "I coughed one time today. I think I'm dying," or something,
Oh.
where people are just, they come in and you're like, "Go home," or you're going to get the people, that it's like life or death situation. So it's like, you don't know what you're going to get. And I think that that's the thrill of the emergency room. But I just loved like being back there in the hospital, knowing that I wasn't a patient, knowing that, I was able to help people. And then like we did our clinicals too, because I took a CNA course my senior year of high school. So we did our clinicals there as well. And so we got to bounce around multiple different places. And so the hospital setting was always my favorite for some reason. So that was definitely my inspiration. But exercise science was kind of underneath because they don't really want people doing nursing and track at the same time. Like doing nursing and competing in your sport has been difficult. And I think you're going to have a lot of colleges that are very supportive of it. But the colleges that I went to weren't. And plus, OSU didn't have a nursing program. So it was like, that didn't help. At Illinois State, they were not supportive. We had a couple people who were in nursing, but they were in a completely different event group than me. And so it's like, I feel like being a sprinter, it's like you have technical days, you have your hard workout days, you have your weight room, you have a bunch of stuff. And so coaches weren't always very supportive of it. Like they didn't really want you to miss because obviously nursing is supposed to be a priority just because of how hard it is. And a lot of nursing schools have strict rules. Like I know my aunt, where she went to college, I think she could only get 3 C's on an exam. And if you got more than 3 C's, you got kicked out of the program. So it's like
What?
very high expectations to uphold when you're in a nursing program, which is understandable though, because you're about to be handling people's lives. Like, like you're supposed to be helping people live and taking care of people, administering medications, all that stuff. So it's like, I get it. And I think like people are just, you can't be very dedicated in both. You're going to have to put all of your time into one. So exercise science is something that still kind of dealt with the human body and working with people and helping people. So I just went with that one.
That's what's up though, like, just to hear that, and
Yeah.
I've never heard of somebody liking the emergency, that's the first for me.
Yeah, I really like the thrill and like the setting of it. I just loved going to the hospital. Like, it sounds so weird. One, I was never hurt, obviously. Like, nothing bad was going on there. But like, I just loved going to visit my aunt and just kind of like seeing her in action. It was always cool.
And low key, the hospital got some good food too, low key.
Oh my gosh, the hospital cafeteria sometimes. I don't think I ever had it from there. I'd always bring her like a hot dog or like a salad because I always would bring her Portillo's. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's Portillo's hot dogs. It's something in Chicago, but they've opened some in Texas too. But it's so good. I
I've
miss it.
never
I wish they had one in Oklahoma. It's so good.
I've never been to Chicago a day in my life. I know people that, that's in Chicago. I had, like, former teammates that were, from Chicago, but I've never been to Chicago, so but I'll be one.
Good food. It's busy and it's cold though, or it's busy and it's hot.
What?
Yeah, I mean, Illinois gets all 4 seasons. Like, you're gonna get summer, spring, winter, and fall. So I feel like fall is probably the best time because it's not too cold and it's not too hot, and you get all, like, the leaves changing colors and stuff, and it looks really pretty.
That's girl, now I wanna take a trip to Chicago for that.
Yeah, it's good.
So, I noticed that you're really big on family, especially, talking, earlier about how, like, family when it comes to when you were switching schools, you were big on family. Um, how have they, like, been, like, the biggest supporter in, like, your career? Like, how have they supported you in your career? Like,
They came to everything that they could. Obviously, when I got to Oklahoma, it was a bit harder, but my dad, I feel like, is one of my biggest supporters when it came to track. He was flying all over the country to come watch me run, taking days off work and stuff like that. I feel like he probably was one of my bigger ones when I got to Oklahoma State, but I feel like that's because he could. Obviously, some of my other family can't necessarily travel and stuff like that because, I mean, obviously everyone has lives that they still have to live and work and do stuff, but my dad was definitely able to be the most flexible. So he was just super supportive when I got here and was that. But I mean, everyone in my family loves me. If they weren't there, if it was live stream, they're sitting in front of the TV recording just like, they're there in person. So that they gave me as much support as they could from a distance, and that was big. And then it's funny because they were also very supportive with NIL, even though they had no idea what I was doing. They were like, "Oh, this is awesome. What is it?" And so like they were just so supportive of everything, even if they didn't really know what was going on, but they knew it was good for me and they knew I was happy and they knew I was doing something good and I was passionate about it. So they're like, you know what? If she's happy, she's loving it, it's good. We love it too.
Yes.
So
And
yeah.
that's the best part, like, just to see, like, hear that family, like, very supportive of, because traveling, like, if you're, like, traveling for different sports, like, it can be stressful too, and, like, were there times, like, you had to miss, like, gathering because of holidays during, like, the season?
Oh yeah, I have not been home for Easter in years. Yeah, I mean, we like my coach was really strict at OSU too. Like he hated it when we went home for break. I think it's because he didn't believe that we were going to work out, but he also like he has his athletes that like he knows are going to work out. But yeah, like he was always kind of gave people crap about going home, kind of made you feel a little bit bad about it. And like I think the one year I went home for Easter was because I busted my hamstring and so I couldn't compete, couldn't practice, couldn't do anything. So I went home. There was no point in me sitting here. And a lot of times too, like we'll be at meets over Easter. Like we'll be traveling for a meet or something like that. So I haven't been home for Easter. There was a year I didn't get to go home for Thanksgiving. Christmas break, we don't really get to go home to the last minute because you have to stay up until your coach says you can go home. So there was all that stuff. But yeah, it was a little difficult. And then at Illinois State too, like so I don't know if it's just a coach thing or what, but like he was a little bit more lenient. But yeah, when I got here, it was just like when you got back from break, you got killed. Like it was oh, we're gonna see who worked out and who didn't type of kind of thing that went on. So I don't know. It kind of sucked because I feel like it didn't always make it enjoyable going home, but at the same time, I'm a hard worker. I knew I was going to go home and work out because I got to go home and I got to work out with my old high school coach or my friends from home who run track in college at different places. So I was like, I'm good, but yeah. So I definitely missed out on a lot. I missed out on a lot of birthdays. We used to do like big birthday dinners for everybody and stuff like that. So I've missed out on my grandma's birthday, grandpa's birthday, aunt's birthday, mom's birthday, dad's birthday. I haven't been able to spend any of their birthdays with them in I don't know how long. So I miss out on a lot. I feel like that's just a sacrifice you have to make when it kind of comes to like getting older, you know? I feel like that's something a lot of people don't understand. Like the life that you live before you come to college is not going to be anywhere near the life that you live when you're in college. You become a whole new person because you're growing up. When you're in high school, you're under your parents' roof, you're under your parents' wall, I guess you could say. You get to college, you're on your own. You're under, your own law. You do your own things, you make your own decisions. So it comes with sacrifices, which suck, but you learn to appreciate those moments that you've had and those
Yeah.
moments that you can't go home.
Yeah. Like, did you had to prepare yourself to, like, when you were getting into did you had to, like, prepare yourself and, speak to your, family about it and stuff?
They knew. They would always ask. They would always be like, "Hey, you coming home?" And even if they knew that I wasn't, or if they were having like a Memorial Day barbecue or something, like they would still always reach out to me or still put me in the group text. And even though they knew I wouldn't come, they still wanted me to feel involved. And I was the only kid in my family for 10 years. So I think it was a little difficult at first for everybody when I like wasn't able to be around just because I don't know. I don't want to like toot my own horn, but I definitely think I'm the favorite of the family. But I was the only kid in my family for 10 years. So it's like, you know, so I just feel like I have a different bond with some of the people just because, I grew up with them. So as they grew up, I mean, when I was born, my aunts and uncles were all like 16 to 20s, early 20s. So it's like now they're, 30s, 40s, getting older, and it's like I'm about to be 24 next month, so it's like I
What?
know. So
Girl,
yeah.
you're gonna be Kobe year.
No, I want to do a photo shoot. I think like a Kobe theme photo shoot, like just a yellow purple.
Girl, do it. You
I think
only you're only 24 for 1 year.
I know.
You better do it. You better slay because you know you're gonna slay all day.
Oh
Hey.
yeah, that's the goal.
Yes. My question is for you to like, what would you say was your favorite event in both the indoor and outdoor? And like what was the best like what's it called? Championship meet that you like really enjoyed?
Favorite event indoor for me, I actually really like the 600 yard. Don't know why, but it was only in Big 12. So it was a very like unique race, but I also liked it because it was different. Like I had to challenge myself. When I came into college, I was a 1-2 runner and I was running a 548-meter race. So it's a little bit of a difference, a little bit more. So that was probably my favorite because it challenged me the most and it made me realize like my strength that I actually really had. Outdoor, I think the 4x4 is always fun outdoor. So it just gets intense. So I would say outdoor 4x4. And my favorite meet was definitely when we won conference this past year indoor. Yeah, that was
Yes.
big. First time ever for OSU women's track and field that we've won an indoor conference. Usually Texas whoops us. So it was big for us, but I think everybody pulled through and it was fun to like score at that meet just to know that I like contributed individually. So that was big. And plus like it was my last indoor meet ever for yeah, so it was a good way to go out.
You ended with a bang.
I had to, and it was fun. And I ended with a PR too. So that was like the perfect way to leave indoor season.
What's a PR if you don't mind me asking?
A personal record. So like I ran the fastest time that I've ever ran.
Oh, that's so girl.
Thank
Yes.
you.
You better let them know.
Thanks.
Girl, and you can toot your horn too. You better toot your horn. Don't ever minimize your own success. You better
I
recognize
know.
it.
I know. I feel like I worked really hard, but I feel like a lot of people like I don't know. People I feel like think very differently of me. People will say that I have numbers. People will say that stuff like that, and they assume the worst out of me. So it's like I feel like if I'm to ever give myself credit for the hard work I know I've done, I feel like I'm always going to be shamed. So I'm very just like humble. There's certain things that I'm like, you know what, I deserve to be proud of this, but there's other things that like I feel like the world makes you feel like you can't be proud of a lot of things because you already have an image out there just because you have numbers or just because you might have an RBF or just because you have tattoos. People always have a way to judge you. And I feel like I'm a very sensitive person. Unfortunately, I'm working on it. I'm definitely getting better, but people's opinions matter a little bit too much to me. I've gotten a lot better, so it's like I'm starting to learn to be more proud of myself and be able to like share those accomplishments. But for example, like I got my personal training certificate and like someone had slid up on my Snapchat story because I posted on my public story and someone had said something along the lines like, congrats, like you shouldn't have posted this. You need to humble yourself. And I'm like, I just took an exam, became certified for a job, opened my own LLC with my boyfriend. Like, I'm gonna post this because this is something to be proud of. You're not gonna sit here and tell me to humble myself because of things
Right.
I spent my own money on and I worked my time on to do. Like, people are just rude and people are weird. So it's like sometimes I just try and not post things, but I think I've realized too, like everyone's always gonna have something to say. There's always gonna be someone sitting behind a phone screen hiding because I guarantee you these people will never say that stuff to your face. People gonna
Yeah.
come up to you to your face and be, oh my gosh, blah blah blah, so excited to meet you, but behind a screen they're a hater. So
It's like they turn their trigger fingers into Twitter fingers. I remember
yeah.
Drake used to say that.
Yeah.
But you should be proud. A certification, hunty.
I definitely am proud of myself because I have a CNA certification too. So I'm a certified nursing assistant, certified personal trainer. Um, what else? I have both of those. We're set up. I have my own LLC, so it's like,
And you
you
about
know,
to have a bachelor. So,
yeah.
girl, be proud. I remember one of the biggest things you always say is bet on yourself. Do you
Oh
feel
yeah.
like Do you feel like that has, like, literally changed your, like, mindset on everything?
100%, just because you have to believe in yourself. You're not gonna go anywhere if you don't believe in yourself. Like, yes, you could be fueled on, like, other people's support for you, but it's like, if my coach tells me if I'm getting on the starting line and my coach is like, "Tori, I know you can go out here and run a 50-second 400 today." But if I'm like, "Yeah, I can't run anything less than a 58-second," I'm never gonna go out there and run what he thinks I can run. A lot of time, I feel like people outside of you can see your own potential. And that's something I've low key realized, like being in the coaching role, like just watching people work out. It's like someone will be like, "Oh, I'm tired. I can't finish." And I'm just like looking at them and I'm like, I know how you feel, but now I understand what my coaches see. Like they look at you and it's like they can tell that you're not tired and you have one more in you. And it's like looking at these girls sometimes that I work with, I'm like, I know you have one more in you, but I'm not going to kill you. But it's just like, you got to learn to find that own spark within yourself. Someone can't find it for you.
Yeah, cause you gotta believe in yourself, like,
Yep.
who
You got to bet on yourself and know that you can do it, because if you know that you can do it, you have the confidence, you're going to go a long way.
girl, that should be on your new merch. Bet on yourself. Like, that should be and I remember you just mentioned you have a business with your boyfriend. That's super awesome. Can you let me know what's it about and, like, what kinda got the ball rolling with it?
Yeah, it's funny because when we first met and like the first conversation we ever had, I remember he told me like he wanted to open up his own gym one day. Like he's big into fitness stuff. And I knew I wanted to be in a coaching role or like do something with people, but I never really saw myself being a certified personal trainer. And then like my internship lined up perfectly and everything worked out well. And so we have our own business and we don't really want to work under anybody. So we have it's Real Truth Fitness LLC, so RT Fitness, because his name's Ronnie, so R. My name's Tori, so T. But we did Real Truth, just like to have a deeper meaning behind it. And yeah, but we work for ourselves now. I feel like there's power in saying that. It's like I think too, because we're trying to like find a nutrition company that I can sponsor in my videos, and we're trying to find like an athletic wear company. Because also, like being a personal trainer, people are going to ask you for nutrition advice. People are going to be like, "Do you have any good suggestions for workout clothes?" Especially if like someone's not really used to working out, like, where can I get this stuff? So I wanted to like kind of just build an empire behind our brand. And so
Mhm.
I think it was important for us to do that. One, because like just having like a home business itself, I feel like is very powerful. But two, we work for ourselves, so there's really not many limitations. Like NIL, there was so many limitations. You couldn't have a school logo, you couldn't have this, you couldn't have that. If you're working
What?
with a supplement company, it has to be approved through your school athletic trainer to make sure it's NCAA like verified. Like we don't have none of that anymore. I am good to do what I want to do. So I work for me. We work for us, you know? So like that was just big and powerful. And also too, it's like if someone's like, "Oh yeah, like I train under Real Truth Fitness," I feel like I'm like, "Okay, like that's something that's important."
That's super awesome. And that the R and the T that makes perfect sense. So, like, y'all both implemented something that y'all love to do, and, both of y'all in the fitness world too in a way.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is the similarities between when you were a student athlete and, like, coaching? What were the similarities and difference in both of them as well as, like, leadership role?
I feel like leadership stays the same, just because it's like you're a leader over like certain people, or it's like you're a leader over yourself. And so I definitely feel like that's something that stays the same, but it's just different being on the other side. Like I feel like I looked up to somebody for my success. And yes, like they kind of gave me the tools, but I was able to put together, my piece of work. And then now it's like I feel like I'm the person giving the tools. So it's like I'm not the one who's building something. I'm like someone who's giving the tools now. So it's just different being on the other side, but it's makes me miss my sport. Like it makes me miss competing, but also like I want to be that person that has that impact on someone's life. Where I remember what it's like when I would run a PR and I would be so excited and just so filled with joy. And I want to be the reason that people feel that now. And I feel like that's like it fulfills you in the same way, but different, obviously, because you're not the one competing. But to know that like you guided this person to that is a very fulfilling feeling.
Oh, that's super awesome though.
Yeah.
Like, girl, you better girl. I'm telling
You
you.
yeah, you just gotta take care of your people too. I feel like one thing that you have to understand when you're a trainer is you have to be what those people need for that day. Because there are a lot of athletes that can't be coached the same. For example, like some of the girls I work with, they like to be coached like tough. Like you can't be like, oh, it's okay, you'll get it next time. It's like they want you to tell you to get their crap together and go do it again. And there's some
Mhm.
people that can't respond to that. Like they won't do anything. Like you have to sweet talk them, be sweet to them. And then it's like when you're training too, like being a personal trainer, you got to be what that person needs as well. So it's like if they want to rant to you about their boyfriend, you got to listen. If they want to tell you about what's going on with their like home life and like they're having problems, this is their safe space. You have to listen. It's like you have to be there for them and also help them work on themselves. It's like if someone wants to talk about politics, sit there and listen. Like you literally have to be like you provide to them whatever they need for that hour.
Yeah.
So that's really important, I think, to know too. Is like sometimes you got to step out of your comfort zone because for me, like for example, if someone's like, I want to come and talk to you about politics, I'll sit there and listen. I might not give my opinion, I'm not going to start an argument, but I will sit there and I'll listen to you and I'll tell you that I understand where you're coming from. Or I can hear you. I might not understand, but be like, yeah, I hear you. Like I'm listening to what you're saying, stuff like that, or let someone know, like, yeah, I might not be too big about this, but I care about like what you have to say.
That's that's real, like, that's real right there because I know, um, because 'cause you're taking on the not only the coaching, but, like, you're being the mentor, you being
Yep.
the like, the big sister to them as well. So, that's girl, kudos. You better girl, I'm telling you, you better toot your horn if folks don't like that.
I'm trying. I'm trying to be there. I think it's been difficult because I've lost a lot of followers ever since I stopped competing. And I've also lost a lot of followers ever since I got into a relationship. So,
What?
yes, girl, I've lost like over 30,000 followers on TikTok. I've lost a couple thousand on Instagram. I was at like 630 something and now I'm under 600,000. Like I'm at like 597 now. Like it's crazy. I don't know why. And I like even had a meeting with TikTok. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Like I was like, I haven't done anything. But yeah, I definitely learned that when I started posting my boyfriend, my followers went. Choo.
G
And when I
It's
stopped
like,
running track, my followers went. Choo.
g
So
girl, this is what Imma
I
do,
don't know.
right?
It's just weird because it's just yeah. I'm literally that's exactly what's happened. I was at like I think I'm at getting closer to 161 on Instagram, and I was at like 164 not too long ago, and it's crazy. It's literally crazy, and it's I don't know. It sucks, but at the same time, it's like clearly if you're unfollowing me, you were never a real supporter, anyways.
That
Like
part.
you weren't a real supporter, and so I think it's just been difficult for me to want to keep up with social media because obviously like I'm still an influencer, but it's very different when you're not an NIL. But just trying to like fit into the fitness influencer world is very difficult because most of these people built up from COVID. Like everyone started during COVID. So whoever these fitness influencers are have typically been doing it for years. And so it's like I am trying to start something. I kind of trying to stay along athletics, but like start something new. And I don't know. I feel like people kind of created this persona of me, and that's why I tried so hard. Like, yes, I made track TikToks, but I also made a lot of TikToks of me just being me because at the end of the day, those track TikToks were all gonna stop. So it's
Yeah.
like now it's like I make Tori TikToks and I make like fitness content too. Um, so it's been like a little bit of a difficult transition. It's hard to be like still super motivated with the media when no matter what I do or what I post, all my numbers just go down. So it's like, well, I don't really know what to do. And it makes it difficult to like want to do that. But I know if I'm to post at least once a day, that's like all my friends that who are really big influencers. Some of them have millions, like 10 million followers across all of their platforms. They have just told me, like, just keep posting. Like, I've been through this same thing. It might not look like it because I have a lot more followers, but they're like, we go through the same thing. Like, you just got to keep posting. So I feel like that's like my biggest struggle right now is like trying to rebuild on the media and more so be confident in like, I just got to be cool that I'm losing my numbers and know that like hopefully one day they'll grow again.
All I said, girl, and I literally just followed you. While
Oh,
you're disgusting. I just said click follow on your TikTok because
yeah. I was at
I
like 30 almost.
girl, all I know is if you made a point. If they had to unfollow you because you're happy, then they weren't your true followers. For me, I mean, I followed you since day one. Cause girl, let me tell you this, and I like because let me tell you something. Your happiness is very important because if and a lot of people keep forgetting that student athletes are human. They have
Yeah.
feelings and
Yep.
they have life outside. So, you know, always remember like who like your inner circle to like who like makes you happy.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, followers, some of these followers that just they disappear.
Yeah.
And so, but
Yeah. I think people like a lot of the guys were like, "Oh, unfollow. She's not single anymore." And I'm just like, first of all, you're like 12. Like, did you really think I'm gonna notice you? Secondly, I'm like, your picture is like your profile picture is a meme. And I'm like, third, your username is like something gross. And it's just
right.
like comment gross stuff. It's like, what makes you think that I was gonna notice you? Like, what does me being taken change? And also, I think another thing is too is how you meet me is how I'm gonna be. My boyfriend met me as a social media influencer. I'm not changing myself. I'm not changing my content for somebody. You're gonna accept me as me. You're gonna get me as me, or you're not gonna have me. And he's cool with it. He's so supportive of everything I do. So it's like, if people thought, oh, she's not gonna post like videos of her dancing anymore, hell yeah, I am. He might be in the background dancing with me, but yeah, I'm still gonna post it. Or yeah, I'm still gonna post videos of me doing things individually. But it's just like, you have to find someone who's still supportive of you, but you also can't change who you are for somebody. And that was something big. Like, he met me as an influencer. I was gonna stay an influencer. So
Girl, I love the story that you I love the love story that you and your boyfriend have. Like,
it gets
girl,
worse, but better. Do you want to know where we met? Walmart.
sometimes Walmart be having something. I don't know.
We literally met at Walmart in the automotive section in Lubbock, Texas.
What?
Yes. Like, I shot my shot. So I gave us a little credit for it. Yeah, I shot my shot at winning. He came and watched the track meet.
Oh shoot, girl, hey
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah, so yeah, here we are. But it was funny. It's funny how, yeah, I remember we saw him, me and my teammates, we were like, it was one of those looks that, like, if you're out with your girls and you see someone cute and you don't like want to make it obvious, but you start like doing a little side eye. Oh yeah, that's what we were doing. And so I went back and I had to tell him that I told him he was handsome. I literally said, "Sir, you are very, very, very handsome." This is what I told him. And here we are. But he makes fun of me all the time because he's always like, "Yeah." He was like, "You like took your finger and were like, can you open the door?" And he always makes fun of me, and he puts so much extra sass. I'm like, dude, stop. Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
Just
yeah, we met at Walmart in Texas, 6 hours away from here. And we
oh.
live together. He moved down to Stillwater. So
And he moved down to Stillwater Beach. Girl, if that's not love,
he
I
got in the car and
don't
drove 6 hours like a week after we had met. Like,
girl.
on his own, got in the car, drove 6 hours to come spend some time with me after we hung out for the first time. Yeah.
Oh, girl, if I tell you, if that's not love, then I don't know what it girl,
If he wanted to, he would. Or if she wanted to, she would. It's not that hard to put an effort for someone that you really want something to work out with.
that part. And
Yeah.
I wish people would remember that, like, match their energy. If you really, like, really, because you are the second person that I've heard their story about a love story where, like, the man actually moved to a different location to be with that person.
Yeah.
And it's just so, it's like, girl, y'all be hitting the jackpots. I be like, where y'all find these people? Let me
Yeah.
take notes.
It definitely came unexpected. Like, I wasn't looking for anything when I met him. Like, I was more in like a healing and rebuilding phase of myself. So, and I was like, I feel like this is an opportunity I can pass. My family loves him. Everyone loves him. My cats love him.
Oh.
I love his family. Our families like each other. It's like, what more can you ask for?
Girl, and you glowing. The glow
Thanks.
just just to see, like, love be loving. Like, you gotta love love.
Oh yeah. I'm a big lover of love. So I'm a big just I don't know. I feel like I'm a big simp. Like, oh yeah. When I
I
have
never understood the
a
word simp. I ain't gonna lie. I never understood it.
like, I'm just a sucker for someone pretty much. Like, I kind of someone who makes you weak in the knees, I feel like.
Weak in the knees, I can hardly
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So
him.
So would you say, like, did you feel like did you notice would you say he was the one when, like, he actually came when, he came to watch you, your match?
Um, I didn't really know, like, that was the second interaction we ever had, I remember I met him and he was telling me, like, he had a homeboy too that competed, um, at Tech, and he was like, "I sometimes go to their meets," and so, I see this man dressed in uniform, perfect teeth, like, curly hair, gorgeous eyes, gorgeous skin, like, tall, just pretty boy. I was like, "He gotta have a girlfriend or something, like, something not right." And he was like, "You know what? Like, maybe I'll come check you out." And I'm thinking, "You're so full of crap," in my head. But I was like, "Okay," like, I'm like, "Yeah." He came and he brought his friend. So, yeah, I guess his friend was already going, so it kinda worked out. But yeah, like, he pulled up and he waited at the end of the meet after I ran just to give me a hug just so we could say hey, and it was so sweet. Like, I remember he texted me, he was like, "Are you getting ready?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I haven't really talked all day, like, I'm super nervous, whatever," because he came on prelims day, and so we were just kinda talking, and he was just like, "I'll let you get ready," and I remember I didn't respond, and he was like, "What's your favorite warm-up song?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh," and I was like, "Are you here?" And he was like, "Of course I'm here," and he sat front and center, and he saw me run. Yeah, it was super sweet, and it just showed a lot of effort, and I was like, "Okay," and then I remember he picked me up too, um, and we hung out, and it was super chill, just got to talk, get to know each other, nothing crazy. And then I think when I saw that he continuously kept putting in effort to come down, um, and it's like he came down one week, and then the next week I had time off, so I drove down to Lubbock, and then it's like the week after he came down. And I think what really sold it for me was when his mom and him put together how he was going to ask me to be his girlfriend. And I came home from practice one day, and it was just this trail of candles. It was a trail of candles,
Oh!
petals everywhere. There were balloons, there were streamers. And I walked into the room, and on the floor was in candles that said "Be my girl," and there was like a heart-shaped rose pet, like of roses on the bed. And he was standing there. He dressed up like he put on a fit, and he had a rose. And he asked me, and I was like, "Yeah, this is gonna go far." And I was like, "Dang!" I'm like, if we last, and this is how he asked me to be his girlfriend, what would the proposal be like?
Oh!
So yeah,
Oh, I see, I love y'all's love stories, just
it's super sweet.
this is
It's
So,
super
well, okay, you mentioned preliminaries, so what's the difference with the preliminaries and, like, the post like, say, like, the tournament post-tournament?
It's prelims and finals. So it's like, say, for example, in Big 12s, if you're competing, you'll have 24 plus people that compete in prelims and only 8 or 9 make it to finals.
Oh,
It's like a process of elimination. It's like you got to place top 8 or top 9 out of all those 24 people, or you're not making it to the finals.
so you had so it was like a doggy dog thing, like
Oh,
survival
yeah.
of the
Oh,
fittest.
when you're not at meets where there's prelims and finals, it's like you're obviously just running to get like a good time, because when you run a good time, it gives you good marks for those meets. So you can get a good lane to compete in prelims when it comes to the bigger meets, um, and stuff like that. So those are really important. I just feel like for building along your season. And then once you get to the big meets, you're like, okay, yeah.
Okay.
So
You gotta you know what? Girl, I'm telling you, you gotta be proud of yourself of all the things you have accomplished, and you just girl, I'm telling you, you are one of my inspirations when, like, for real, like, you are one of my favorite people, my inspirations, because just to hear your story, I just it's just amazing, like, how like, the process that you just girl.
thank you.
So, my question is, if you had to tell your younger self what to expect, what would you tell them?
Expect the unexpected. I feel like you don't really know what to expect. Just expect the unexpected, things that you dream of and things that you don't expect to happen, but you dream of happening are possible to happen. So I feel like expect the unexpected.
That's true. That's yeah, cause like, in a way too, you gotta be You gotta be comfortable with the uncomfortable too.
Mhm.
Like, especially if you wanna, like, you're, like, so determined to do something and it's like, I'm not used to it, but
Oh, yeah.
and it goes back to, you're saying bet on yourself, so yes. But I always ask my guests, like, Miss Tori, what ma I just what ma so the word bona fide means certified. What makes you, a bona fide woman in sport, and what makes your story stand out from everyone else?
I feel like I'm very real. Like, I've always kept it real, and I'm real on my media. I'm real in real life. Like, I'm just a real person. I'm very truthful. I'm passionate. I feel like everyone could be all these things, but I feel like everyone's just a different type of special. I'm a type person. Like, I know it's you supposed to come first, but I feel like I always put my people before me because as long as I know I'm okay, I need to make sure my people are okay and taken care of.
I felt that
Yeah.
because like, you always don't you it's always those people, like, and I relate to that because I always wanna make sure everyone is good. Because if they're not good, then, like,
Yeah.
what do I gotta do?
It's like, what can I do to help you? And I understand that sometimes you can't necessarily help people, but I think the fact that you just even put the question out there to let them know that you're there for them is really important.
Yeah, and I definitely see that, like, with, what you're doing too, as, with you're doing with the strengthening coach and stuff,
Mhm.
like, that can be applied. That's always
Yeah.
applied. So, but, where can I just gotta let the folks know, can you let the folks know where people can, like, support and find you, and do you have any upcoming events or anything, coming up for you?
Be prepared for the launch of our fitness business slash app. We are launching. We wanted to do the beginning of next year because most people New Year's resolution. I want to get in the gym. I want to find a trainer. I want to look good. So we're going to start promoting probably this week. So just start getting ready for the launch of our Real Truth Fitness and where you can like sign up. And we're doing online and in person training. So obviously people who are local in Stillwater, or even if someone want to just come down and get a good training session in. So we will do that here. So there's that. Just look out for that. But Instagram is tortiz.29. My Snapchat is Tori Ortiz 43. My Twitter is T Ortiz with two Z's 43. And my TikTok is T Ortiz 43.
Girl, I have to so is the 43, like, your favorite number?
No, they were my softball numbers. I was 29 and 43. So
Oh my gosh, I was
yeah.
'cause I was like, 43, is that, like, her favorite number?
Yeah, no, it was my softball number. It was such a random number, but, like, I feel like you don't see a lot of people with 43, so I was like, "Yeah, this is unique, let me take it."
Yes,
Yeah,
and 29 is definitely random, but it works though.
it works.
So, but shout out to you, Tori. Thank you for coming
Thank
on the show. I
you,
truly
appreciate it so
appreciate
much.
it. Yes, and y'all be sure to follow Tori Ortiz at her Instagram, just like she said, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and just support a real one. And be sure to tune in for the next episode of Bonafide Her podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will see y'all later.